Hello. As promised, here you go, the how-to DIY tutorial, whatever you want to call it, on how to build a 6 foot by 18 inch by 2 foot enclosure. We're going to show you what you need to cut all this stuff, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about the process of putting it together. By the end of this video, there's no reason why none of you should be able to say, I can't do it. I'm here for you guys. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go over the tools needed. All right. As you can see here, rather large table. You want at least 6 foot by 8 feet table. Makes it a lot easier to work with. You're going to need a handsaw. You're going to need 2 clamps, measuring tape with a pencil, at least a 6 foot long 2x4 skill saw, and table saw. Now, the table saw is set up to where if you slide the PVC through, it's going to slide right onto the table. That makes life a lot simpler, guys. So with these little tips, we're going to have you guys building enclosures in no time. Let's go ahead and get it started. Okay, now what we're working with here today is 1/2 inch PVC high density. Okay, first thing you're going to want to do on a 6 foot enclosure, that's 72 inches for those of you that can do math. All right, we're not going to measure 72 inches, and I'll show you why. We want to measure 70.5 inches. The explanation's coming, don't worry. Now, you measure that 70.5, make you a little hash mark, go on the other side, and do the same thing. 70.5 inches. Now you're asking yourselves, if it's 72 inches, why are you measuring 70.5? Here's why. 6 foot 2x4. You're going to place it on the long end of that hash mark. Same with this one. You can put your pencil in your hat for later. You're going to take your clamps. Right where this hash mark is right here. So we're going to put it on the long end. We're going to put the clamps on the long end as well. From the table to the 2x4, right on that hash mark of 70.5 inches. Make sure that is tight. Do the same thing with this side. Right on the hash mark, the table and the 2x4. All right, now, the reason that is like that, on your skill saw, you're going to adjust the depth to the sheet, just a little bit past the sheet. Okay? Set that depth. The distance between the blade and this edge is 1.5 inches. So when you scroll down through here and cut, you get your 72 inches. Good explanation, right? Stand by, we'll go ahead and cut. All right, we've measured the depth of the blade. We've measured the 1.5 inches past 70.5, which gives us a 72 inch. Take your guide, scroll it forward. You put it right up against that 2x4 and let her rip. Little bit of an oop there. Now the next thing we're going to do, this right here is going to be the top and the bottom of the enclosure. So we'll take this off and we'll get our table saw ready. Now what we've done with the table saw is we have set this guide. If you look on most table saws, they have a scale right here or a ruler. You're going to set it on 24 inches, okay? The blade depth should go down. Mine's really old table saw, so I don't have the opportunity to lower the blade. But the blade, you want it just cutting through the top of the PVC. So 24 inches wide on the guide. We're going to run this 6 foot by 48 inch PVC sheet through here, which will give us two 24 inch wide 6 foot pieces. Okay, now that you've run that through, you have two 24 by 72 sheets. That's going to be your top and your bottom, okay? Notice how when I slid this, it slid right on the table. It didn't get caught up anywhere. When it gets caught up, you're going to have imperfections in your PVC by the blade. So you can take these, set them off to the side as front and, or top and bottom. And I'm sure you want to watch me tear these two sheets and put them up. Now what we're going to do is get the other sheet ready. It's basically going to be similar to that, but I'll show you the little bit of difference. Okay, we got sheet number 2 set up. Again, we're going to measure 70.5. Put your hash mark. 70.5 on the other side, hash mark. Run your board, your 2x4, clamp it, and you're ready to cut this side. Now that piece that you just took off is going to be vital, so you don't want to make sure that that doesn't get hurt or scratched or anything, because that's going to be your sides. Now once you take this off, we have to do the same thing on the table saw, only this time we're going to do 18 inches. We need 2 sheets that are 18. One of them at 72 inches, which is going to be the back, and one of them that is 71 inches, which is going to be the front, and I'll show you why. All right, so let's get this set up on the table saw. Just to give you an idea what I'm talking about, here is our table saw. Here is where it is set on 18 inches. That is going to be an 18-inch rip. right here is now scrap. You can build platforms for these bigger enclosures. You can put a platform in it and give them that much more floor space in order to get, they can climb a little bit to get on a different platform for a different heat, different temperature, to where they can self-regulate better. So we'll go ahead and push this off to the side. Okay, what I've done here is I've set this one of the 72 by 18 sheets. I set it up to cut 71 inches, which means you make your marks at 69.5. That gives you that 1.5 inch allowance for the guide to the blade cutting on your skill saw. This is going to be the front panel. This is the one where we're going to cut the 2 windows out. Since you have 2 side panels that are 1/2 inch, it has to be 1 inch shorter than the rear panel because of the 2 1/2 inch sides. That's why you're making it 71 inches. So let's go ahead and cut this one. After I plug it up. You remember me telling you guys that no matter what, I'm not going to edit my videos if I screw up like I just did. I'm not going to edit it out. Well, there you go. By all means, hit the comment button and write dumbass on it. It'd make me feel better. All right, let's try this again. Okay, this little piece right here, it is scrap, but we're going to use it later on the assembly part, and I'll show you why. So make sure you keep these as well. All right, so go ahead and take this off. We can go ahead and work on the front panel. Okay, I lied to you a little bit. What we're going to do now is work on your 2 side panels, which are going to be 18 by 23. Why 23? Your enclosure is 24 inches wide. You have a back panel that is a 1/2 inch. So we're going to do 23.5. I know I'm confusing you guys, but I'm doing this in my head. I have no script. So these here are going to be 23.5 by 18. So let's take that top piece that we just had when we did the 6-foot cut, and we're going to do 18-inch cut to make the height of the enclosure after I plug the table saw in. Good Lord. You'd think I'd figure it out by now. Okay, there we go. After you've done the 18-inch cut, you're going to go ahead and move your table saw to a 23.5 measurement. Lock it. And go ahead and do the side. That's your second 1-inch piece that you will use later. Okay, we got the sides done, we got the top and bottom done, we got the back cut, and we got the front panel measured and cut, but now we got to do the windows. How long did that take, guys? A matter of 15, 20 minutes? Let's move on to the front panel. Okay, this is your front panel. We measured 71 inches by 18 inches. Just to verify, 18, 71. So you make sure this is the right one before you start hacking it up. What you're going to do is, out of that scrap, you're going to find you a 2.5 inch, or cut a 2.5 inch template board, and I'll show you why. This right here, being 71 inches, half is 35.5, correct? We have a 2.5 inch size for the board. 2.5 inch divided by in half is 1.25 inches. So at 35.5, 1.25 inches back is 34.25. So mark that. And then on the other end, it is 36.75. So you're going to mark that. That is going to be your center beam on the enclosure, on the front plate. Now what I like to do is measure on top and the middle, 34.25, 36.75. That gives us our straight marks to go by. Just run that down on both sides. And there's your center part of your front plate. Now, on this 2.5 inch piece, line it up on the bottom. Mark, mark. On the top, from the lines of your center post. Mark, mark. All right, now do the sides. Line them up. Run your pencil. Now finish up the lines on the top and bottom. And miraculously, I have the outline for my 2 windows. That moved. I had a lot of people ask me how I did this so precisely. I don't really see it as precise, but what's that famous slogan for Mostly Snakes? Works for me. Alright, we got all of our lines measured out. As you can see, without the shadow, you have your openings. Let me see if I can get this without the shadow. You have your openings drawn out for your front panel. Here's where it gets just a little bit tricky, and I will explain why. Now, this right here is, again, where it gets a little tricky, but it's possible that I do this the really hard way. There is probably a way you can put a guide on here and run it that way, but I just go ahead and do this way. This is what I'm used to doing. So basically what you're going to do is pick your skill saw up, run this back, and you're going to drop that blade down on the inside of the line to where the blade cuts back to the corner, and then run it up to the blade touches that corner. You don't want to go past the line for the top and bottom, and one of the reasons is you will see that on the template or on the front board itself. So let's go ahead and cut these. Now what I like to do is do all of the lines that I can see from over top, which is going to be these two and the bottom of this one and the top of this one. I may have messed that up, but just watch. Now I'm going to do this top line. Let me move the camera to where you can see. You check it. All right. Top and bottom. That's what I meant. Nope. Now I get to turn it around so I can see my cut. So now we're going to do this line and this line. And the bottom. Nope, I don't like that one. I like to be able to see over top, that way I can see exactly where the line is. Let's turn this around again. I guess it'll matter. Do this way. Remember, you're dropping the blade down not to go past the corner. Now these here, I don't like doing when I can't see the line. Alright, no other way, but we'll have to look at the inside of the line this time. Alright, one more. Now you notice that all of the corners did not get cut fully. And that's alright. I'll show you why. Make sure your fingers aren't in there. Okay, now we got everything cut, but as you see, it's still not coming off, and that's fine. This is where your skill saw comes into play. me adjust the camera so you can see. Alright, now what we're going to do here is finish up those corners. You're going to slide that down in. Doesn't take a whole lot of pressure with the PVC. It's very easy to work with. You just take this and just run to exactly that corner. You want to slide it up close to the table so it doesn't jerk around. Alright, that side's done. Straight to the corner. There we go. That side's done. So, let's slide it around and do some of these other corners. You will notice this PVC is really easy to work with. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure when you can do it right. Just cutting down to the corner. What's that thing? All right, just about done. For all of you that ask me how I get my corners so precise, now you know. Alright, slide it. I think we've got this end right here to do. Put some hair around it there, Crawford. Alright. I know I could have probably stopped this video since you already got the gist of it, but it's just easier for me to go ahead and just do the whole video. I'm tired of walking back and forth. Hope y'all can see that. Now, let's move it a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. Hey, look at there. We have a window. And of course the last corner is going to be a little bit of pitch. Boom. Now, you have the front plate. Guess what, guys? That's all the cut. That's it. That's the only part that needs cutting. You got your front, you got your two sides, you got your back, and your top and bottom. So, as you can see, PVC is a little bit dusty to work with, but no problem. Now that we got everything cut, now we can start assembling.